Okay, so the what I'm going to talking about is what the increasing risk of wildfires around the world, and how do you understand the risk of the wildfires? How do you predict the risk of wildfires using AI and climate models, monitoring of forests, and I'll give some real life examples. Okay, and as you know, the wildfires happen around the world for several reasons. Some of them are natural causes, and some of them are man-made causes. So, man-made causes including people being careless, and also sometimes the equipment in the forest that is not working well, and it can start fires, especially the power equipment. So this so whatever be the reason, the wildfires happen, right? And then the conditions that create and spread wildfires are the dry vegetation, hot and dry weather, strong winds, and then and everybody knows about this fire triangle, which includes the ignition, fuel, and oxygen together creates the wildfire. Well, and then if these conditions are there, and then whether the reason is man-made or natural cause, the wildfire starts. So unfortunately, that is the uh, okay. And then the climate change is actually is increasing the number of wildfires as well as intensity of wildfires. And based on the data that we have now, the wildfires are expected to increase by 150% by 2050. So this is a lot of wildfires, and the wildfires are becoming larger and more intense. And these wildfires are happening all around the world. It is not just restricted to one area, whether it's North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Australia, everywhere wildfires are happening now. Okay, one of the main things is that addressing the growing threat of wildfires is an important issue now, whether it is a planted forest or it is a natural forest. So we need to adopt a more proactive risk mitigation approach to prevent the damage from wildfires. The proactive wildfire mitigation approach that includes wildfire mitigation planning, clearing and managing the vegetation to reduce fuel, because fuel is the one which is the main cause for the fires, and use a technology-based approach to assess the risk and improve the understanding of the risk, and also understand the fire spread risk if the fire is not controlled for any reason, because sometimes the fire may happen and we may not be able to suppress fast enough, and then the fire becomes uncontrollable. Then we need to know how the fire is likely to spread. Understanding the risk is the first step in risk mitigation planning and implementation. So we need to understand the risk profile of an area, and also if there are multiple areas or multiple forests, we need to understand what is the risk scoring across different areas and different forests. And also we need to monitor the fire weather risk based on the weather changes. And the aspects of wildfire mitigation plan are that includes 4 aspects. One is the risk analysis and vegetation management. The second is situational awareness. That means we should be able to do real-time monitoring of the system and weather conditions in high-risk areas. And then based on this, we need to deploy fire suppression resources in high-risk areas during the fire season. And then the last resort is in the plan. The last aspect of the plan is, okay, if the fire happens, how do you respond? What's the last resort? Then that means you need to plan evacuations of people and any other equipment from that area when you know that there is a fire risk. So these are the 4 steps that we need to be, our planning needs to be based on. How can technology help? Because nowadays we have very sophisticated technology. We can run climate modeling using artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. So we can use these technologies to assess the ignition risk. That means what the risk of wildfire happening, and then understand the situational awareness, provide awareness using weather monitoring and wildfire detection tools. These tools could include stationary cameras, sensors, drones, and satellites. So we need to use a combination of different technologies, because no single technology is effective on its own. When you have a combination of multiple technologies, you get the best wildfire detection possibility. And another aspect is the fire spread risk. And we now have tools that can predict how the fire could spread. So we will have advanced simulation of the wildfire risk, so that we can take necessary action to avoid damage to the equipment and people and communities. So let me start a real life example of a fire in Los Angeles. Even though Los Angeles is an urban area, there is a substantial wildland urban interface in Los Angeles. There are a lot of forests that are nearby the population, where the population live. This, what you are looking at on your screen now, is the risk profile of the area, a part of the area of Los Angeles where the real fire happened last February. I took this example because this is a fresh example. This is a fresh incident. Everybody knows, and it is in the minds of everyone. So people, it is easy to understand the example of the Los Angeles, to understand how the fire risk can be predicted, and how you can make emergency preparedness plans and wildfire risk mitigation plans. So this is the risk map made by our system before the fire happened, because we were able to predict the likelihood of fire happening using this map. So if you see in this map, there are 4 different colors. The dark red color is the very high risk, and the light red is high risk, yellow is medium risk, and green is low risk. So this map clearly showed where the risk is high, and if there is a condition for the fire to start, where the fire will start. This is the real map of Los Angeles. So if you see what happened, you can see that the fire happened. The blue areas on the map are the areas that got burned. So these blue areas happened exactly where the very high risk of fire was predicted. So this is a very good example for people to see and understand how a AI-based, artificial intelligence-based prediction system can give you advanced warning about where the fires could happen. Not only where the fires could happen, we can also predict when the fires are likely to happen. It's not just about the just the risk map, but giving you advanced information about where and when the fire could happen. So here in this case, this is showing the fire weather index for Los Angeles from our system. So this is the different areas where it has given the wild fire weather index. And in fact, you see there's a slider there. You can move the slider, and then you can see how the risk will change on a day-by-day basis. So this is a very powerful tool to predict the risk, and also to know when the risk is likely to happen, how the risk will change every day. So, and it's also fire weather index. This is an area of in Los Angeles where our system has predicted when the fire is likely to happen, and then what the actual data that was collected. So the fires exactly happened at the high risk time, as predicted in this map, as predicted in this in this graph. So this fire weather, in fact, Argentina has also adopted the Canadian fire weather index with some modifications to suit the Argentinian conditions. In fact, our system can adapt to any other fire weather index customized for any country. So this is also, in this case, we are using a different fire risk index, which is SFDI, Severe Fire Danger Index, used by United States. So our system using this also predicted exactly when and where the fire is likely to happen. So this is another example of a fire in Texas. So there again, if you see here, based on the daily graphs of the maximum temperature, wind speed, and the relative humidity, and calculation of the running of the climate prediction models, we are able to exactly predict which day is at high risk for the wildfires. As you can see here, when the heat wave is condition of heat waves, gust, and the dryness, it clearly gives you that information. When is that likely to happen? The wildfire is likely to happen. If the conditions, if there is a ignition point, whether it's man-made or a natural cause like lightning. Of course, there are several different variables our system calculates. The fire weather index, severe fire danger index, early release component, burning index, and heat stress index. So our system actually calculates all these parameters and then gives you a prediction of when and where the wildfire is likely to happen. And then, in fact, our system has the ability to predict the fire risk almost up to 10 years, but normally we use up to 1 year, where we can predict the short term, near term, and long term. And the short term basically helps you to plan your disaster response, and near term helps you to to plan your logistics and operations, and the long term is basically is planning for resiliency investments. So it gives you all that information. It could be 1 to 10 years, 3 to 12 months, or 1 to 3 months. So this is a very powerful system. Using artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies, we are able to predict, and using multiple indices. It's not just one index here. And this also built on IPCC global climate model. So this is a very well proven United Nations approved model. And we are able to achieve almost 95% accuracy of fire weather in forecast. So building resilience through accurate seasonal prediction. So obviously, as I mentioned before, in the pyramid, I showed you about the fire mitigation planning. That is the being prepared for the emergency when the fire happens, and the risk reduction. That means you plan for your what you call clearing the vegetation or burning. Let's say this is called prescribed burning in Canada and United States. I'm not sure what it is called in Argentina. So this is you can take wildfire prevention steps, and the cost efficiency. So you can optimize the resource allocation and reduce financial liabilities and insurance cost when you have an advanced warning of where and when the fire could happen. And also another important aspect is the community and environment. Send advance warnings to customers. That means people living in that area, and safeguard ecosystems and communities and reduce health risks. So these are additional advantages that the prediction system provides. So sometimes what happens is when the fire happens, and then it could be two. There was when there's a fire, sometimes the fire crews may not be able to respond fast enough to contain the fire. In that case, the fire is likely to spread. And then the spread of the fire depends on different factors like wind speed, wind direction, and the vegetation. All these factors come into determining how the fire is likely to spread. So using our models, we can decide where we can simulate where the fire is likely to spread. Here is an example that you are showing. We are seeing here where it is a orange, where it is some kind of a mustard color is where the fire is happening. Yellow is where the fire is likely to spread. So this information helps you to plan and also alert the people to evacuate. And then the fire spreads in two ways. One is direct spread through the vegetation, and then this fire also could spread because of the wind direction. Wind speeds. So in the case of a wildland urban interface, it's a problem. I am taking again the example of Los Angeles because it is where this has exactly happened. I'll explain. Sorry. Here in this case, the fire happened in one area, and but the homes got burned in a different area because the wind carried the embers to that area and then started the fire. Our system actually can predict how the fire could spread in the areas that are not directly in the fire location. So this is a very, very important aspect of the fire spread simulation, where the direct area as well as the indirect areas where the fires could happen because of the wind. And these are real-time predictions. These are not something that is this prediction, for example, the spread prediction because of wind is real time. So this is what, if you see here, the blue area is where the real fire happened, and the other areas where the fire had spread because of wind, the yellow and red areas. So this kind of a prediction we can get much in advance, so that you can take preventive steps in advance. The situational awareness is an important aspect. So if you understand what is happening, you can take the right action. So this is primarily about detecting the wildfires as soon as they happen. So this is an integrated technology platform that helps you to provide you complete situational awareness of the wildfire. So you can see that this system helps you to understand the situation before the fire happens, when the fire happens, and during the fire, as I am going to show you that. So this system includes several different technologies. This includes artificial intelligence, data from satellites, data from drones, and several different things. Several different data points are used to determine the situational awareness of the fire. So here it is this shows how the system, the total system could work. One is advanced risk prediction and early detection and location. So and then the human verification. When the fire happens, the fire agencies generally want to have a human verification of the fire. And also the system can, the technology can provide a lot of data to help them to make the right decisions. And the notifications and the locate and routing resources, understand and then understand fire spread risk in case the fire is not contained in time. So to summarize the use of technology for wildfires, one is the system, the technology can help you to understand the risk, assess the risk before the fire could happen. And then this can be between now up to 1 year. You have much 95% accurate prediction when and where the fire could happen. And the systems, if you can put the systems in place, the system can detect as soon as the fire happens, and gives you early detection of the wildfire so that the fire crews can take immediate action to suppress the fire. But in some cases, if the fire crews could not suppress the fire because of the vegetation or because of the wind, then the fire could spread. And the system will give you how the fire could spread, both direct spread as well as indirect spread using the wind. So, and then after the fire, the system, obviously you can use the technology uh, to assess the damage and map the burned areas. So the technologies that are available today that uses artificial intelligence, machine learning technologies, and the climate models can really help us to be well prepared to address wildfires when they happen. So thank you so much. And if anyone have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.